When the first hominids learned to make stone tools, the human era began. And with that, a question arises in an even earlier time. How did the ancestors of humans appear? That is the question. We must go back to the extinction of the dinosaur dynasty. If these prehistoric giants had not perished, then mammals would still live at the bottom of the food chain, only able to come out at night to secretly forage for food. Dinosaurs suppressed mammals for hundreds of millions of years, until finally a small asteroid arrived and completely changed everything. The impact triggered a chain reaction. Doomsday dust darkened the sky. Countless plants withered away, volcanoes erupted, explosions. Tsunamis struck again and again, life was destroyed. The gigantic dinosaurs began to gradually go extinct. In the end, the fate of the dinosaur dynasty was sealed, except for the branch that became birds. All were wiped out. Many people watching up to this point may have a misunderstanding. Wasn't it at this time that our animal ancestors appeared, seen, AC? Truly, it wasn't that they also suffered heavy losses. About 90% of mammals went extinct in this disaster. So some of you may feel puzzled. Why was it that, even after suffering such severe blows, mammals were able to rise so quickly? In fact, this had to do with their living habits, because for a long period they lived under the shadow of dinosaur rule. Mammals had long become experts at surviving in extreme environments. They weren't picky eaters, easy to raise, and most importantly, their reproductive ability was far greater than that of dinosaurs. In the early stages of the mass extinction, small species of mammals barely survived on leftover food, but after enduring the hardest times, they were astonished to discover those terrifying dinosaurs were gone. This also meant they could now move about frequently during the day and travel farther distances. From then on, mammals began a rapid and explosive diversification. A team at the University of London conducted in-depth analysis on 904 placental mammal fossils. The results showed they found that in the tens of millions of years before the extinction of dinosaurs, the evolutionary rate of placental mammals remained at a steady level. But in the 10 million years after the extinction event of the dinosaurs, their evolutionary rate significantly accelerated. In particular, among them, the group belonging to the order Condylarthra experienced a rapid increase in body size and biodiversity, eventually evolving into many familiar animals that we know today, including bats, cats, rhinoceroses, whales. It can be said that the rise of mammals was due to the extinction of dinosaurs. So when did we primates first appear? Around 65.9 million years ago, a primate known as Purgatorius emerged. This animal later gave rise to the genus Archispus and other primates species. In the tens of millions of years that follow, mammals, including primates, flourished and expanded. Some conquered the land, while others ventured into the boundless deep sea, eventually evolving into the largest creatures in Earth's history. Others, not to be outdone, developed the ability to fly, competing with birds and insects for territory in the skies. Some became, after the saber-toothed tiger, the largest animals on land. Primates, however, chose a completely different path. About 5 to 7 million years ago, the ancestors of humans and chimpanzees still lived together. Perhaps it was a devastating forest fire, or perhaps other reasons that forced the human ancestors to leave their homeland and venture onto the vast, open grasslands in search of opportunity and in order to spot danger on the grasslands earlier and to obtain more food. They gradually, in this process, learned to walk upright. At this point, surely, someone will ask, what exactly was the reason? Well, let's take a look at how they actually learned to walk upright. Due to long-term tectonic activity, the African continent was torn open by a massive rift. That is the Great Rift Valley of East Africa, and on the eastern side of the Rift Valley, there are a series of highlands with an average altitude of 2,700 meters, like a natural barrier blocking the airflow from moving west to east. This also caused the region to be arid and have little rain. In the past, dense forests slowly became sparse. Many sources of food became difficult to obtain. Therefore, the skill of walking upright emerged. Around 4.4 million years ago, a hominid species appeared. These apes had already completely adapted to upright walking, and their brains were slightly larger than those of chimpanzees, but at this time, their situation was not very good. Other mammals had already risen during this period, such as large felines. With the slightest carelessness, they could be torn to pieces. They lived in constant fear, struggling to survive. But these hominids had already formed families. So what path would they take next?